Locomotion and the movement. Movement is the basic feature of living beings. Animals and the plants exhibit a wide range of movements. In unicellular organisms like amoeba, streaming of protoplasm occurs, which is a simple form of movement. Protoplasm, which is a simple form of movement. Movement of cilia, flagella, and tentacles are shown by many organisms. Human beings can move limbs, jaws, eyelids, tongue, etc. Some voluntary movements that result in the change of place or location are called the locomotion. Change of place or location. These are the voluntary movements. Walking, running, climbing, flying, swimming are all various forms of the locomotory movements. Locomotion and movement are linked to each other. All locomotion are movements, but all movements are not locomotion. In paramecium, cilia helps in the movement of food through cytopharynx and in locomotion as well. Hydra can use its tentacles for capturing its prey and also use them for locomotion. We use limbs for changes in the body posture and locomotion as well. Locomotion generally for search of food, shelter, mate, suitable breeding grounds, favorable climatic condition, or to escape from the enemies or predators. Next is the type of movements. Here I'm gonna write type of movements. Amoeboid or the pseudopodial movement. It occurs due to the pseudopodia formed by cytoplasmic streaming. It is shown by the macrophages and leukocytes in blood and cytoskeletal elements like the microfilaments. Molecular mechanism involves the participation of microfilament, actin, myosin, and the OTP. First, we have the amoeboid or the pseudopodial. Next is the ciliary movement. It occurs in most of our internal tubular organs lined by the it occurs in the internal tubular organs which are lined by ciliated epithelium. It is shown by the cilia present in the upper respiratory tract of the humans to keep the microbes and the dust particle out. Cilia in the fallopian tube of females and cilia in vasa frantia of the males transport ova and spermatozoa respectively. Next is the muscular movement. Movement of limbs, jaws, tongue, etc. require muscular movement. Muscular movement occurs due to alternate contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Next is the flagellar movement. It occurs due to the propulsion brought by the movement of the tail and middle piece of human sperm. Locomotion requires a perfect coordinated activity of the musculoskeletal and the neural system. Muscle. Muscle is a specialized tissue of the mesodermal origin. Specialized tissue of mesodermal origin. About 40 to 50% of body weight of human adult is contributed by muscles. Muscles have special properties like the excitability, contractility, extensibility, and elasticity. Based on their location, three types of muscles are identified as skeletal, cardiac, smooth. Skeletal, cardiac, smooth. First is the skeletal muscles. They are closely associated with the skeletal component of the body. तू हंसी तेरा नाम हंसी है तेरे इश्क दा जान हंसी. Skeletal components of the body. They are also either striped or the striated, stripped or striated. They are found in the limbs, body wall, tongue, pharynx, and the beginning of the esophagus. They are under the voluntary control. They are involved in the locomotory action, changes in the body posture. Present in the limbs, body wall, tongue, pharynx, and beginning of esophagus. Next, we have the cardiac muscles. They are found in the walls of heart and in the walls of large veins. That is the pulmonary and the superior vena cava, where these veins enter the heart. They are cylindrical, striated, branched, uninucleate fibers and are involuntary in nature. Uninucleate, branched, striated. Specialized intercalated discs are present between two intercalated discs present between two adjacent muscle fibers to transmit wave of muscle contraction. To transmit wave of muscle contraction. Next is the smooth. They're also known as the visceral or the unstripped or non-striated. Non-striated. They are spindle shaped. Okay. Inner walls of the hollow organs. Okay, like posterior part of esophagus, stomach, intestine, lungs, urogenital tract, urinary bladder, and the blood vessels, iris of the eyes, dermis of skin, etc. They are not connected with the skeleton. Not connected with skeleton. They are under the control of ANS and hence involuntary. They are involved in the transfer of food in the digestive tract and gametes to the genital tract. Transfer of gametes and food. तुम एक गोरख धंधा. Next is the structure of skeletal system. Each organ has skeletal muscle in our body is made of a number of the muscle bundles. Of fascicles are held together by the common collagenous connective tissue layer called the fascia. Each muscle bundle contains a number of muscle fibers. Each muscle fiber is long, cylindrical, and surrounded by a cell membrane called the sarcolemma. Sarcolemma. The cytoplasm of the muscle fiber is called the cytosarcoplasm. Muscle fiber is a syncytium as the cytoplasm contains many nuclei. Syncytium. Muscle fiber is syncytium as contains many nuclei. It contains numerous mitochondria known as the sarcosomes. And smooth surface E are called the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is a storehouse of the calcium ions. Store calcium ions. Muscle fiber contains hundreds to several thousand parallelly arranged filaments in the sarcoplasm called the myofilaments or the myofibrils. Each myofibril has alternate dark and the light bands on it. The striated appearance is due to the distribution pattern of the two important proteins, actin and myosin. Actin and myosin. Okay. And the light bands contain actin and is called the I band. Actin is the light band. And it also called I band or the isotropic. The dark band contains myosin and is called A or anisotropic. Both actin and myosin proteins are arranged as a rod-like structures parallel to each other and also to the longitudinal axis of the myofibrils. Okay, which are the muscle fibers. Actin is the thinner as compared to myosin. Myosin. It's a thick. In the center of each eye band is an elastic fiber called the Z line or the Z disc. In the center of each eye band, there is Z line or Z disc, or the crosses membrane which bisects it. The thin filaments are firmly attached to the Z line. The thick filaments in the A are also held together in the middle of this band by a thin fibrous membrane called the M line. Okay, M line holds the A band. The A and I are arranged alternatively throughout the length of the myofibrils. The portion of the myofibrils that lies between two successive Z lines is called as sarcomere. The functional and the contractile unit of the myofibril or of the whole muscle fiber. Each sarcomere is a bundle of thick and thin myofilaments. In a resting state, the edges of the thin filaments on either side of thick filaments partially overlap the free ends of the thick filaments, leaving the central part of the thick filaments. This central part of thick filament not overlapped by the thin filament is called the edge zone. What is the M line? M line should be here. The thick filaments in the A band are also held together by in the middle of this band by a thin fibrous membrane called the M line. We have a diagram for this. For example, so this is a Z line, okay, and I'm gonna draw the myofibrils or the myofilaments. Like this is the myofibrils or the myofilaments. Now I'm gonna draw with red this is between the मुझे तो लग पता This is the H zone and this is the A band. Okay, like this is something similar to what I wanna explain. Like this is the Z line, this is the Z line, and this is the A band, and this is the I band, and this is H zone, and this holds the sarcomere unit, and this is a whole is a sarcomere. Then the structure of the contractile proteins. Next is the next we have is the structure of filaments, contractile proteins. Muscle fibers are made up of the four contractile proteins, which are the myosin, actin, tropon, and the tropomyosin. Okay, thin myofilament is made up of three different proteins. Thin myofilament is made up of three different proteins. This is the muscle fiber. Uh, this is a thin myofilament. Is made up of the three. This is the actin. The backbone of the actin filament is double-stranded F-actin protein molecule. Each actin filament is made up of two F-actins helically wound to each other. Each F-actin is a polymer of monomeric G-actins, which is a globular actins. So the backbone of the actin filament backbone of backbone of the actin filament is F double-stranded F-actin protein molecule. Okay, and each actin is made up of 2F 2F, which is a filamentous actins helically wound to each other, and each F actin is the made up of the G actins, the globular. Then we have the tropomyosin. Tropomyosin. It is a double-stranded alpha helical rod that attaches to F-actin. Okay. In the resting state, the tropomyosin molecules lie on the top of the active sides of the actin strands to avoid attraction between the actin and myosin filaments that causes contraction. In the resting state, the tropomyosin molecules lie on the top of the active sides of the actin strands. In resting stage, this lies on the top of the actin strands to avoid contraction. Then third is the troponin, a complex protein distributed. It is a complex protein distributed at regular intervals on the tropomyosin. Complex protein distributed on tropomyosin. Masks the active binding sites for myosin on the actin filaments. It masks the active binding sites. For myosin on the actin filaments. On actin filaments. Then the thick myofilament. We have the, which is the जे तो लबदा फिरा thick myofilament. तो okay, myofilament. It consists of myosin protein and the myosin molecule is composed of two large heavy polypeptide chains. Two large heavy polypeptide chains and four smaller light chains. These polypeptides combine to form a molecule that consists of the two globular heads containing heavy and light chains. They form These polypeptides combine to form a molecule. These polypeptides combine to form a molecule that consists of two globular heads. They form molecules consist of two globular heads containing heavy and light chain. And a long tail formed by the two twisted heavy chains. Two heavy. The head serve as the cross bridge. Myosin is split by enzyme trypsin into two fragments. Myosin is split by enzyme trypsin. That is the and the lung. Is the heavy meromycin. And limb is the light meromycin.